Hello.
Hi.
I'm just doing my lipstick.
She's touching up her lipstick, and I am wearing my Carhartts.
Brown, not pink.
Not pink, no, because that's an abomination.
The camera's over there
that way. Thank you.
Because I know
we are having major issues with Angelo.
He's on his
last leg. Well, he only has one leg.
We're gonna have to take him and put him down. Speaking of adulting is hard.
So our topic for today is adulting is hard. And the reason that that is the topic is because Rachel has had a rough week in adulthood.
I think everybody kind of has, but I've had.
Yeah.
I know 3 other people that had to do the same thing as me last week. It was so weird. Yeah. Hey, let's take
Are we
shots.
sure the coronavirus doesn't affect pets?
Yeah. Well, no, they're all different reasons.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I know it's going to be warm and disgusting.
I'm not going to string it past a small one. I made it small on purpose. So, yeah, adulting is hard.
Like me after I take that shot, I feel like that's an adult thing, and it's terrible.
So on what day? Tuesday.
That was Tuesday, yes, because we were supposed to film, and Tyler's like, you probably shouldn't film that day. And I asked her, and she's like, no, we can still film.
Yeah, it was good for me to distract myself. And
I get that.
I'm okay. So on, I don't know what day. My dog has been, since New Year's, she kind of stopped eating her normal, like, kibble food. And kind of started losing weight. So I was having to make, like, ground beef and chicken and rice and
this summer, though,
veggies.
Way back in the summer, your vet told you.
No, it was a year ago, exactly.
A year ago. The vet told her that Coco, that was her dog, had, like, a couple months left, right?
3 to 6 weeks. A year ago.
And you were upset, and you were surprised how upset you were.
Yeah, so my dog had this, like, skin tag on her a year ago on her, and it had gotten, like, swollen and kind of, like, looked infected and stuff. So I took her into the vet, and they're like, well, all we can do is remove it, you know, we'll just take it off. We'll do surgery tomorrow and remove it. And so apparently they do blood work before they do surgery, and they called me, and I was figuring they were like, oh, she's done, she's fine. And they're like, well, we didn't do the surgery because her blood work was kind of off, and they're like, we're gonna run it again just to see if it was like a fluke or something. And she called me back, she's like, we ran it again, your dog has lymphoma, she's 3 to 6 weeks to live. Blah. So of course I was going in for like a routine little thing, and then they're like, your dog's dead in 3 to 6 weeks. And I was like, oh, shit. So it came out of nowhere.
And Coco was a pit bull mixed with something else. I thought she was straight pit bull, but she's not. And
she's mostly pits appear.
Yeah,
to
that's
be.
what it looks. That's what she looks like. And you found her. I think this is a cool story. You found her wandering
outside. Like, I was working one day, and we work on like a busy street. I did work on a busy street, and it was raining outside, and there's little like pit bull running in the middle of the street.
But it was a puppy. She was tiny.
Oh yeah, tiny little pit bull. It was raining in the middle of the street, and I'm like, get that puppy inside. And so we brought her inside, and I called like the shelters and stuff, and nobody had put her to missing, and they're like, well, you can keep her. And I'm like, oh,
you're like,
okay.
I didn't really want a dog, but I guess I have one.
And so I kept her. And so I've had her for 12 and a half years. And she went through a lot with me. So anyways, a year ago, she was diagnosed with lymphoma and had 3 to 6 weeks to live. Obviously, that was incorrect. The 3 to 6 weeks thing. But so she stopped eating her food. So I had to make her,
in January, she stopped.
I had to make her homemade food like we eat. And actually, when we went to Vegas, Kristen watched her. And Kristen's like, oh, I'm out of groceries, you know. I'm like, thanks for watching my dog. I was like, well, if you get hungry, you can eat Coco's food because it's just rice and beef and all the shit
that's
you normally eat. Yeah, I kind of joked about that. But anyways, then she started.
And her dog get along?
Sorry,
because she has a tiny, yeah. Okay, so.
So just in the last like week or whatever, she started to like, I thought it was just like peeing. She wasn't able to control her bladder, and I was like, okay, we need to go in bed. So she started losing weight, stopped eating food, and then at nighttime she would just like whine, and I'm like, what's wrong? Like, are you in pain? Like, are you hungry? Do you need to go outside?
And even when I was over, she would stand at the back door and whine.
And then you let her out.
She was like in and out. And that's actually what Caesar did the older he got. It's like they couldn't get comfortable anywhere.
Do I need to pee? Do I not? So turns out it wasn't just pee and her not controlling her bladder. Like there's bile
from her kidneys.
And so we went
or her liver.
I made an appointment to go to the vet on Tuesday to put her down because I didn't want her to suffer, and she was starting to suffer, and she was not herself. So that Tuesday though, she kind of had a little spunk in her step and was like, ate some peanut butter and was eating normal.
Because she had stopped eating totally, even like
the past couple
food.
days.
Yeah,
she was not even eating that, and so I'm like, okay, this is bad. So I went into the vet, and they were like, well, it could just be a kidney or bladder infection, that moved to the kidneys.
Yeah, I had said the same thing.
And maybe because when you have that going on, you feel sick, and she didn't want to eat and whatever.
You can feel nauseous.
Maybe some antibiotics will. She had some more time. So
meanwhile, she texted me this.
Yeah, so Billy and I kind of got hopeful, like, oh, maybe we could just run some blood tests and that's it, and we can just treat her with some antibiotics and take her home and we'll be good for a little while longer. And they did the blood tests, and the doctor's like, you're making the right decision.
It's almost worse if they lifted you up and then it was like, no.
Yeah. He showed us the test results and see this, her liver.
She's in liver failure.
Her liver was not working at all.
Mm-hmm.
And her lymphocyte numbers were 10 times higher than they were a year ago when they said she had lymphoma.
So it was a massive
and I said,
infection.
So why did you tell me a year ago that she was going to be dead in 3 to 6 weeks? So apparently there's 2 types of lymphoma, one that's quicker and one that's
aggressive,
slower. And apparently we were blessed to have another year with her. So yeah, we put her down on Tuesday afternoon. They did call me in.
The ashes. I told you I'd pick them up if you need me to. I felt terrible, and my son Rudy, he loved that dog. He would go make out with the dog and roll around on the ground with the dog, and so I didn't tell him until I picked him up from school that day, and I was like, Rachel's at the vet right now, and they have to put down Coco, and he was devastated, right? And then I'm like, I should have let him say bye, and then Rachel texted me. It's like, she might, because I texted her and I was like, how's it going? And she's like, we might not have to. And then I told Rudy, and we were both praying, yay. And then we found out that, it's terrible.
And I'm not a crazy dog mom, took my dog everywhere with me and whatever. So I know that it's a part of life.
Too, yeah.
And dogs don't live as long as we do. I know these things and I'm rational, but whew,
it's still. We've had
still, even on my way to come over here, I went to the back door and was like, okay, is Coco okay? I don't have to check that.
Did you save her collar?
Yes.
You need to hang it on the picture ledge. We have Jack's. So we had 2 dogs that in the past year have passed away. We had Jack, who was a golden retriever, and then we had Caesar, who was a Jack Russell. Jack was only 10, and his illness came out of nowhere. He had not been sick. He was healthy. Actually, he was 9, almost 10, but there was no decline. All of a sudden, he started puking, and he died 4 days later. And it got bad, and I kept it from the kids because I didn't know for sure, and I didn't want them to know until I knew. And the night that Tyler took him into put him to sleep, he had, the day before, he had started bloody diarrhea throughout the house, and he was shaking, and you could tell when he looked at you, he was in and out. It was so sad. And that was really hard. That was really, really, really hard.
Especially when they get that bad to see them suffer.
And it came out of nowhere. And in fact, at the time, I had my own blog, and it was doing really good, right? And I couldn't even, I stopped everything. And it took me a while to get out. It was just really hard. And then Caesar was our Jack Russell, and Caesar was an asshole. And Caesar was also my soulmate. He was my soulmate. Oh, no, he was an asshole. It's fine. He was an asshole. No, but to everybody else. But he was my soulmate. We could look at each other and we just knew what the other was thinking. Caesar thinks that Tyler brought me home for him, not for Tyler, right? So, and once I came into the picture, he dropped Tyler like a hot potato. He followed me everywhere. He had to be by me. He wouldn't even let me go down the stairs first. He had to go down first to, okay, it's
safe down here, Mom.
Come down now, right? And he was a gentleman. He was such a gentleman. Although he did roll in shit on a regular basis, and that was not so gentlemanly. But, and in my head, he always had a British accent. And so Caesar was not like a person dog, right? He was more cat-like. Like he only would bond with a couple people, like me and Emery and Sophie, and he tolerated Rudy. In fact, when we first came into Tyler's life, I was in the bed and Rudy came up to kiss me goodnight, and Caesar tried to snap at him. And I'm like, you do not. And so one time he never tried to snap at another kid after that. And he tolerated kids really good. Yeah. We didn't think that would be the case.
He was just being protective of
Yes, he was very protective. The neighbors hated him. In fact, none of the neighbors know my name, but they knew Caesar's name. I would hear, get the F out of my garage, Caesar. Because he was terrible. I mean, he never stayed in the yard. He knew to avoid cars though, and like if Jack would run off, the cops would bring Jack back. They could never catch Caesar. He avoided the popo. He was like, nope. So he was a terrible dog, and he was also my soulmate. And he was old though. He was 14, and he had a seizure. Caesar had a seizure. Try and say that at 4:00 in the afternoon, and he was dead by 9:00 that night. And it was really, I mean, he was old though. Like we knew it was coming.
But he wasn't like sick either.
No. He was just old. Yeah.
Until the seizure, you really didn't have signs or symptoms of him being sick, huh?
No, that dog drove me nuts, but I adored him.
Yeah. And see, I didn't, you had told me your horror stories about like Jack and whatever and suffering, and like I didn't want it to get to that point.
No.
Like I was debating, like, is it, like, I don't want to put my dog to sleep too early if she's got some good days left. And I don't want her to be in pain and suffer. And
so the night that Caesar had the seizure, oh my God, he had a seizure. Rudy found him on the side of the road. And
so he was outside.
And he came and he was panting, and I got the fan. I was giving him water and food, and he came back around, right? And I'm like, oh, he's okay. He's fine. He's fine, right? And I remember, I'm like, I'm not ready for this. Like, this can't happen yet, because Jack had just happened the year before. So anyway, or less than, like 9 months before, 10 months before. Anyways, so then he had another massive seizure at like 6 that lasted for like 30 minutes.
Oh my.
And he was literally like howling in pain. It was the worst sound ever. He was sitting in the corner of the office facing the wall and just screaming out in pain. It was terrible. And like, you can't even, and I'm like, well, I can't let him die by himself, right? It was terrible. So then Tyler took him in and put him down that night. But like, you don't want your dog to have to get there, because it was, although we didn't really have a lot of time, like it just happened.
Yeah, adulting's hard.
It is. Thankfully, we had 2 other dogs on standby. No, I'm kidding. We had an addition after Jack passed away. Tyler was not ready for another dog. 6 months later, he had seen 2 golden retrievers that needed homes. They were older puppies, and I'm like, done. And 2 days later, we had them. Yeah, and they're big, right? And you know what it looks like in your head, but then when he brought them home and there's 2 of them, you're like,
oh shit, my living room's just filled up with dogs.
But I was
and
happy.
You still had Caesar at that point.
Yes, and we still had Caesar. But I was happy, like, because it was, our house did not feel, when Jack passed away, our house did not feel right until Meredith and Phyllis, they were named from the office, until they came and lived here. And even though it's crazy and hectic, like, it's crazy and hectic in the best way. When Caesar passed away, it was in a way a lot easier, because
you had Meredith and
we had Meredith and Phyllis, and so the house didn't feel empty. Like, even though we still had Caesar, Jack was a big he was a big boy. He was like 96 pounds, right? And he loved people. He came up and greeted you. Caesar was more like this, right? Except to me. But it just, our house felt terrible when Jack, and then when Caesar passed away, he was old and we expected it. It was still hard, but it wasn't, it just, Jack was really.
Yeah, if you didn't have Phyllis and Meredith yet, though.
Yes, it would be terrible. And they don't replace Jack or Caesar. Right. That's not the case. But they just make our house feel right. Because we have to have dogs. In fact, I'm begging the husband, because I need another.
Right now?
Yeah, I need.
You don't want a Newfie now. Those dogs are big enough.
No. I don't need. No, I do want a Newfoundland at some point, but I need.
Newfoundlands are huge.
I know, but I love big dogs. But I need a little man like Caesar. Now I need another, like, And Tyler's always wanted a corgi. And so I'm like, this is my perfect time. And it's like, because
You don't need 3 dogs and 3 kids.
Yes, I do.
And you want another baby too.
I know.
Which do you want more, a baby or a corgi?
A baby.
Right now.
But I can have both. I can have the world.
Good luck with that.
And if
just don't do both at one
get
time.
Another little, oh, please, that would so be something I would do.
You will. Watch. Mark our words.
If we get another
a year from now,
right?
me and I'll have a new puppy and be pregnant.
Yep, I'm fine with that. I thrive in chaos. That is my life.
It is, but now when you have too much chaos too often, your jaw flares up, and
That's
then
true.
you don't thrive.
No,
so you have to have a fine
fine.
balance. So enough depressing stuff. Besides putting dogs down and adulting
Which
being hard,
sucks ass. P.S.
there's a lot of other adult things that are hard, like
what to make for dinner every night.
17 loads of laundry a week.
Oh my God, that's all I do. And you know what? When the kids go to like put something else on, I get mad. I'm like, no. Do you
that
really?
shit you're wearing is not
really
dirty.
Need new underwear?
Peyton wears like 9 pairs of underwear a day sometimes. She's like, oh, well, the other ones I got a little bit wet, and I go into the bathroom.
Oh, Emery does that.
I'm like, these are not wet. Not even one little like dime size of pee. Like, you're just saying that they're not
Emery
wet.
says that. Like, she's like, I spilled some water, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm like,
Water dries.
I'm putting that in the dryer.
Those aren't dirty.
And you're putting it right back on. Do not put on another pair of pants, because that's all I do.
Like, she's like, Mom, this shirt's hot, and she'll take it off and put on a different one. And
no,
I'm like, that one's
it's gonna be
thicker
hot
and warmer.
Too. No. I just feel like my life is this hamster wheel of laundry and dinner.
Well, and then you have my husband who wears 3 outfits a day because he has his work clothes, and then he goes to the gym in the middle of the day, and then he wears what he has in the evening, and then even kind of switches or takes off some of it for sleeping.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
that's Tyler. I'm like, yeah, your work outfit,
I'm
and
like,
then your gym outfit, and then your after work outfit. No, I've seen Rachel in the same sweatshirt for the past week. Not shitting you. I'm not even kidding.
It's like my over
I'm like,
one.
I've seen this sweatshirt the entire, and I'm not even judging her because I do that all the time. Literally, I didn't feel like finding pants, so I put on Carhartts for this. That's the truth, right? Honestly, out of all of us, you know whose laundry I do the very least? My own. Because I will wear those pants 3 days in a row. I will wear that sweatshirt for a week like Rachel, right? We don't need to, it's not standing on its own. That still has another good day, right? Because I'm the one that that's why everybody else takes everything off so freely and throws in the dirty clothes, because they're
at
not
least they throw it in the dirty clothes and don't leave it on the floor.
No. Okay, well, Sophie does. Rudy does not. Tyler does not. Well, no. Actually, he puts it in his closet. That's good. Emery thinks the dirty clothes is just wherever she takes it off at. Like, kitchen, backyard, doesn't matter.
I literally, when I'm doing the girls' clothes, I have to walk around every room in the house.
Right?
To pick up the clothes.
Emery's newest thing, and God so help me. So towels, right? So towels are a whole nother thing. Like, you have to set aside, because our sanitary cycle takes 2.5 hours, right? And then towels take forever to dry. Forever. So if I'm doing towels, it takes like a whole day, because we have bath towels and we have kitchen towels, like, because I have 3 loads of towels, right? Only white towels, people, because then you can see if there's shit on them. True story. Yep. So anyways, Emery now uses hand towels as baby doll blankets.
And Peyton too. She got that from Peyton.
They're throughout the house. And I'm like, oh, I just did towels and now they're all gone.
That's Peyton's fault.
Right?
That's Peyton's fault. Because they were over, and
Kiki does not need a hand towel.
When they play babies,
Kiki
they use...
is not cold because she's a doll.
Freaking kitchen towels to cover the babies up with.
And then once it's been on the living room floor, like, we have 2 golden retrievers and they shed a lot. And I feel I can't just fold it back up and put it. That's gross. So I have to wash it. Actually, Rachel was over last weekend. And Rachel was helping me clean my house. I'm not going to lie. And
sister wives, you know.
Yeah. We were vacuuming and Rachel was like, now I see why you have to vacuum every day. Because she'll tell you when she comes...
I was covered in... I had black pants on that day. Like,
and she had just vacuumed.
Yes. I just vacuumed. And then I, like, sat down and when we were putting cushions on the couch and whatever, and I was like, holy crap, I'm, like, covered. I had it, like, everywhere.
So I take my couch cushion. I have a white couch with 2 dogs and 3 kids. I know. But it's beautiful. And I will never not have a white couch.
But you never see it because it's always covered with
it's covered in white sheets. You get the idea. Unless we have like a nice thing, like twice a year, like nice people are coming
nobody
over.
touch it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like if somebody sits down with food, I'm like, let's go back into here. But anyways, so I take the cushions off at least once a month, and they get washed. And we baby that couch more than I have babied anything in mine. More than I've babied my children. Like that couch, we take care of it. Remember last week when you were over and we were vacuuming and then we were painting those pots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what I did to the house with the popcorn ceiling? So this is why I can't have nice things, people.
So we're using plaster of Paris, and she was telling me about plaster of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was like an arts and crafts thing to add texture to paint, and like
it
was a thing.
That's what we were
But she's
using.
like, no, it's like a construction thing, like you buy it at Home Depot or whatever. And I was like, oh, this might. And I'm painting a pot, which hint, you'll see them soon, maybe. I'm like, oh, this must be what they make popcorn ceiling out of. And she goes, yeah. And she dips a big paintbrush into it and slings it against the house. She's like, see? And I'm like,
I was trying to show her. Like, she just looks, she's like.
And so I get a towel and I'm like, why trying to wipe it off?
How were you even surprised that I did that? Like, that's nothing. She was shocked that I did that. And
I wasn't shocked. I was just like, oh, Amanda.
Because I wanted her to see.
You just flung white paint on your brown house, like, across the whole outside wall.
You should see the back deck. Actually, where do I put the paint when I'm painting?
On your table, on your desk.
Put it straight up on my work desk.
She literally, like, squeezed paint on. She's like, okay, you do that color, I'll do this color. And
it's like a big palette. That's why I have a work desk. The house is,
because it works. But the house isn't your palette. Just, you don't,
I was giving a visual example.
And I was like, well, there's one more thing you need to fix up before you leave.
This is what she said. She's like, are you going to clean that? I'm like, she went and cleaned it. Because she's
not very well, because it didn't go off very well.
No, I know, it's still there.
I know.
Well, but like the popcorn, just the remnants of like a cast of white. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's like textured, so like in those creases, Yeah.
So I don't adult good because I make big messes like a child.
Yeah.
What else about adulting is hard? You know what? Having to spend money on stupid things that you don't want. Like,
a new furnace, a new air conditioner,
a
new
water
heater. How about all three of those in 1 week?
Yeah, that
furnace,
happened.
Water heater. It was my furnace, my water heater, and my fridge. We had to come to make them 1 week, all three.
I don't want to buy. Like, that's not exciting. You don't what else I hate? I hate buying gas. Like, I know I have to have it. Now, I know. I don't even look at the price. I couldn't even tell you what the price of gas was ever.
$2.01 the other day.
But, like, because I have to have it. It doesn't matter what the price is. I have to get gas, right?
Yeah, I don't have a hang up on gas.
But it's so boring. It's like, gas. I know, seriously.
The dinner thing, though. Let's go back to this. Billy and I are in this phase where we don't want to cook dinner lately. And, like, the girls eat earlier than us usually, and we'll like all sit down with them and have like a snack.
Yeah, they push off dinner. You guys really eat dinner late.
Oh yeah.
Tyler gets mad at me
10
because I eat at like 8:39, and he's like, "This is so late," and I'm like, "You should see Rachel and Billy."
Both of us do. So we'll both like eat something at like 5:30 with.
I came over Tuesday night because I brought them,
and we were just cooking dinner at like 9:30.
Yeah.
We were just finished cooking.
Because after Coco passed away.
We actually cooked that night.
Yes. After Coco passed away, she said, all I want to do is sit on my couch and eat ice cream. So I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere, but she's brought me a ton of shit, so I'm going to go get her ice cream.
And Reese's and Starburst and a cherry Pepsi, which is my favorite.
That's her favorite. But, so dinner, you guys were cooking that, but they get these meals in boxes?
HelloFresh.
Yes.
So we do HelloFresh.
Yes.
So...
But one time they gave you chicken sausage, so I don't think I could ever do that.
Well, you can pick your meals. Like you just get shipped blind.
Okay, I don't do
we
sausage.
Picked that, so yeah.
That's disgusting.
So yeah, we get HelloFresh or
she likes dark meat too,
we eat out. Like literally we eat out so much lately. Just because it gets so late and then we're like,
right, I know.
We finally get the girls in bed and whatever, and we're like, it's time for our dinner.
You're tired.
Yeah. Nobody wants to cook dinner at 9:30. So we need to get back on a
our kids have always
family dinner schedule besides just Billy and I eating like a little snack. Well, yeah.
Our kids have always eaten the same thing we eat, I may not eat at the same time, but we all eat the same thing. But I could see why, I could see you guys, because Tyler eats early, right? But if you guys both eat late, I could see why you do. That would be me and Tyler if he ate late. But
so you just like warm up whatever you cooked or he cooked.
No, he just leaves it out, and then it's typically like it might be I'm too lazy to warm. Like it's still a little bit warm because it's on the stove.
But it's all dried out and crusty.
Yeah, I don't care though. I don't care about like dinner. Like I just want the dessert after. No, seriously. I'm like, I don't care what shit you give me for dinner. I just want fruit snacks after.
I'll have a few bites of it and then I'll have my fruit snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And go to bed.
It's just like a requirement. Like you gotta shove some dinner in your mouth so you can get the fruit snacks.
Did you find fruit snacks at the grocery store?
I got the last box.
So you're back on your fruit snacks kick?
Yeah, I am right now.
You got off of it for a while.
I did. And I'll get back on it. Like I'll get back on.
This is how adulting
not
is
eating
hard.
fruit snacks. Yeah. But right now, because of the pandemic, you can't.
I had to buy a bunch of shitty foods. Right? Is that what you're saying?
That's partially what I'm saying. But I feel like if I'm dieting, it's like a lot of like fresh produce and stuff. And I read today that you should only plan on going to the grocery store once a month during this time. And I'm like,
what? How do people do that? That's what I don't understand.
People have to like. I don't understand.
People are paycheck to paycheck and like can't buy a month's worth of groceries at one time.
I don't have enough room. And we have a deep freeze and we have a refrigerator in the garage and I still don't have enough room to buy a month's worth of stuff because our pantry is the size of the desk. It's ridiculous.
So, another thing that's hard as adults? Paying taxes.
Okay, yes. And I have never realized this until I married Tyler because Tyler is commission, just solely commission. They tax the shit out of him. It pisses me off.
But it comes out, so he doesn't pay court. He comes out of his
checks, but it's like high. It is incredibly high.
You guys get returns then usually?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
But commission tax is higher than regular tax. Like it's like half.
But then at the end of the year, it should all just be.
Unless you have to pay
what?
Your ex-husband's taxes or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah. True story.
Not anymore though, right?
No, but
That's
I mean,
all done.
Yes, but it took a couple years. And we get along just fine. I didn't want to say it, but I knew she was not going to know what I was talking about. So, yeah.
Well, so we own our own business or whatever. We have a landscaping company and a couple other smaller ones.
So you pay quarterly.
So we just pay quarterly estimated taxes. We estimate how we're going to do the next year. And we did a lot better this year than what we had estimated.
So you owe a shit ton, right?
Yes, but I don't anymore.
That's right. She found out some like trick.
It's not a trick. Like
it's legal. It's totally legal.
And it's not like I knew it. So we have SEPs, which are like a 401k if you work for a company, but it's for self-employed.
What does SEP stand for?
Self-employed. It's not pension. I don't know. So it's basically a 401k for somebody who's self-employed.
Because you have to dumb it down for people like me.
And so if you contribute, you can contribute like 23 or 20% or something of your income to an SEP, and it reduces your.
And they don't tax that because it's retirement?
Right. So we're putting it.
So.
Yes. So basically we owed,
a lot.
This much in addition to the $50,000 we already paid last year. We owed another big chunk. But so I told Billy, I don't care. I'll just say numbers because it doesn't mean anything to you. You won't be able to figure out how much we made. So I told Billy, I said, we are going to have to take $42,000 out of the business and, put it in an investment account. And he's like, and he freaks out just about like cash flow and money and doesn't. And I said, well, we can write a check to ourselves for $40,000, or we can write a check to the government
and say,
for,
bye-bye.
18,000 or whatever. And he's like, and I explained all of this to him like a couple times. He's like, yeah, I get it. That's the smart thing to do.
But it's still not your money. Like, you can't touch that money.
Yeah. So we had to come to Jesus and decided that that's the right thing to do. But still, and we still do owe some taxes, but it's like 3,000 instead of
yes.
like, whatever, almost 20 or something.
I remember
so
even
yeah.
10 years ago when I would hear older people talking about taxes, I was like, God, that's when you're really old, right?
Adulting is hard.
Now I hear myself and I'm like, they just tax the shit out of us. And I'm like, oh my God.
I'm one of those old people.
I am.
Adulting is hard, folks. And now that we've talked about it for 30 minutes, there's a lot of other things about adulting that are hard.
So many.
Maybe we'll have a part 2 sometime, but
yeah, someday.
we won't
But for now,
complain anymore today to you.
It's okay. There's a pandemic. We're allowed to complain a little bit. Yeah. I'm grateful that we are not sick, though. I'm grateful that Angelo still turns on, even though he's sideways.
We have to like
he
really rig him
Angelo
now.
has scoliosis because he is also old.
Hunched over like this.
That would be, lordosis. Scoliosis,
Is it
lordosis, kyphosis. Lordosis.
But he's sideways.
Well, so he has scoliosis and lordosis. So he's like this. Poor Angelo. Bless his little heart. He lived a very short life. I just feel like for $50, he should have stayed around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That was our big investment, and it has paid off because we wouldn't look this pretty without him.
Because we've definitely made that all back.
Even with scoliosis and lordosis,
he's
still worth it.
He's still our baby. We're going to have to go put him down.
And get a new one.
I'm not getting a new dog yet. Peyton's like, oh, that was the hard part too. Explaining to a 3-year-old.
Kids.
And she's like, so I, said, Coco's sick. We're going to take her to the doctor, and then she's going to go. Coco's going to go to heaven. She's not going to come home. Like, say
You're not
going to
see her again.
And she's like, well, who's going to drive her to heaven? And I was like, well, nobody's going to drive her to heaven. She's just going to go to heaven with Jesus. Well, is Jesus going to come down to the floor and pick Coco up and take her up to heaven? Well, we won't be able to see Jesus doing that, honey.
And you have to explain all this when you're already emotional and you don't want to talk.
Bawling.
That's Emery. So Emery was very happy about Jack and Caesar going to heaven because heaven is good, right? And she's like, they could go be with Jesus. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that means we don't, like, she doesn't, because all she knows is heaven is, heaven is a wonderful place.
She doesn't realize that.
Yeah, okay, so... And so, but you don't want to talk about it. Like, you're done talking about it. Like, your eyes finally are no longer puffy and red. And you finally, you look normal. And then they want to bring it up again. And you're like, I just can't right now. But you can't say that to a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. Because then they're going to have some, complexity or issue with death. Like, this is why adulting is hard.
My mom was over, the next day. And we were talking about Coco in heaven, and I was explaining to her, your soul goes up to heaven or whatever, and
your physical body,
we bury our bodies, and then my mom's mom chimes in, and it's like, yeah, and one day Jesus is gonna come again, and we're all gonna go up to heaven, our bodies too, and she's just staring at me, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like,
I'm like, she's 3, Mom.
Don't even try to explain the Holy Ghost and the Ghost and the Spirit and the
Trinity, 3 in 1.
I still don't get that shit. So
Holy Spirit, Jesus.
So now that we have been over theology,
adulting is hard.
Adulting is hard. Yeah, those questions are really hard, and especially when you don't want to talk about them anymore. Yeah. So subscribe, ring the bell,
and share.
Share. And because I noticed that we didn't get as many likes in our last one, and it was likable, people. It was likable. Follow us on Snapchat. It's Working for Free or Rachel Finholm, and Instagram Working for Free. And we will be back working for free soon.
See y'all later.
Bye.